Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving you my Razzie nomination predictions. I'm going to be trying something new. I might try to start covering the Razzies as well. Now, if you don't know, the Razzies they are an organization. Basically, you could just pay for membership. I don't know how legit of an organization you could say it is, but however, they honor the quote-unquote worst movies of the year. However, in recent years, they have gotten into lots of controversies, from nominating countless child actors for worst actor or worst actress, and really just any acting categories, because, you know, children are bad actors, I guess, and it's their fault. They've gotten into some controversy around, like, you know, sexism or even transphobia. I mean, just look up what they called Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Yeah, it's kind of weird. They're kind of weird, but they're popular. To exploit that hate, I'm going to predict the nominations, so let's go. Now, the way it works is that they have a pre-nomination ballot of films that are in contention, although you can write in contenders. But generally speaking, whatever ends up, like, on the short list usually ends up getting nominated, because I'm assuming there's usually not really as many write-in candidates that actually get nominations. So, you know, with the knowledge that there's a chance a write-in nomination could actually get into some of these categories, it's still very unlikely as far as I'm concerned, so I'm just mainly predicting off of what was in the pre-nomination ballot, alright? With that being said, I think Reagan is going to win this year, because it's tough. Like, Madam Web or Kraven the Hunter could, but for one, I feel like because of those two being such big disasters for the Sony Marvel universe, like, they might end up canceling out each other's vote, I should say. Even though also, another thing I do want to point out is that the Razzies usually go for, like what's big and popular in terms of badness. Like, they won't usually go for, like, sequel after sequel after sequel. You know, for example, what was it? Hillary's America, The Secret History of the Democratic Party rightfully won Worst Picture that year. That was one of the few times where I felt like it was actually deserved. But then Death of a Nation did not get nominated for Worst Picture, because it's not as big and buzzy as the previous film. So they don't really like to go for seconds. And it is tough, because, God, I don't know. But right now, I'll go with Reagan, because they do like going after the more right-wing films. So that could probably win. And again, it's tough, because Madam Web has been, like, the meme of the year. But again, the fact that Kraven also came out this year, it's like, they just might cancel out each other's vote. But I do think they'll both get nominated. All right, this three, I feel like, is very safe. Joker Folie à Deux. I think it's very strange that it's even in contention for Worst Picture of the Year, or even some of these other categories, because it's but regardless, Joker Folie à Deux. Like, I have a feeling they're gonna go hard on this film, because it was pretty clear they didn't like the first Joker movie, because it won Worst Reckless Disregard of Human Life and Property, which is weird, because the Joker wasn't even killing that many people. He was only killing people who wronged him. Like, that was the whole point of the movie. Oh God. Meanwhile, Hellboy, which actually was a complete reckless disregard for human life and stuff, where it was literally just chaos in terms of, like, how many people were dying. It's like the Joker in that movie was, like, very, very calculated in who he killed. So I think they were just being bitchy about it. But if they were that bitchy about the first Joker, they're gonna hate this one. They're gonna nominate it everywhere they can. Which is ironic, because you're gonna see that they made some big typos. But still, I think this will get in. Because, again, it's like one of the biggest box office flops of all time. And this is, it really feels like the Razzies have been waiting for this moment. So they're going to really reel it in for this. And I was really struggling between Megalopolis and Borderlands, because Borderlands technically has worse reviews than Megalopolis. But Megalopolis showed up on, I think, way more lists in terms of or in terms of what it could get nominated for. It got into way more shortlists and got way more, like, I think it's supporting actor alone in the shortlist. There's like 3 actors. Like, it kind of says a lot about how much they don't like Megalopolis. But again, Borderlands could definitely get this pick, but Megalopolis, it just feels like, it's like, again, sort of like Madam Web, it's like the big meme movie of the year. It's just like, good God, this is a disaster. How did you let this happen? So I'm going to go with that. And, you know, like I said, that's why Borderlands is at number 6, although it could get in. The Mousetrap, if you don't know what the Mousetrap is, I didn't even know what the Mousetrap was when I did my reaction to the shortlists. But the Mousetrap is basically like a Mickey Mouse horror movie because Mickey Mouse came into the public domain. And this is exactly what I'm saying when I say that that they don't usually go for sloppy seconds. They like to nominate what's more fresh and new, and the Mousetrap is just more so like, again, like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which won Worst Picture that last year, because that was big on all over the news. The Mousetrap just kind of like came and quietly went. I think it'll get a couple of nominations as a consolation prize of sorts, but like, I feel like it's going to be old news at this point, like making, you know, R-rated, you know, horror movies out of public domain children's characters. I feel like they're just gonna feel like it's old news. And Unfrosted and Dear Santa, I just feel like, again, no one cares about those movies. Like, it's not like as big and popular bad as something like Megalopolis or Joker or even Reagan. It's just like they just kind of came and went and no one really cares. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if Dear Santa, like, unless I'm mistaken, it feels like Dear Santa only made like 2 shortlists. But then again, I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong about that. Hell, I'll be able to see here in a bit. And Unfrosted, it did appear in a lot of shortlists. But again, it's like when you see how many of the shocking kind of, you know, popular, negatively reviewed films there are, it's like I feel like Unfrosted just is not going to catch as much attention as some of these films. And then you get to Worst Director. You generally want to go 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 in Worst Picture. And you definitely want to line up Worst Picture with Worst Director. That, like, the Razzies actually do, you know, they actually do line up those 2 categories very well in terms of the winner. So I'm going to predict that Sean McNamara for Reagan wins. But at second place, old Francis Ford Coppola. This is like they want to nominate him. And if it wasn't for, I think, Reagan winning Worst Picture, which I feel like is going to happen, Francis Ford Coppola would have been winning this, because it's not just because of how incoherent the movie is and how dumb everything is and how heavy-handed everything is, but also, I mean, the fact that there was like rumors of him like kissing women on set without their permission. It's like, ew. If it were me, he should win Worst Director, because the moment you start sexually assaulting your people in your set, like, that's already like you lost the plot. S.J. Clarkson for Madam Web will get in because of how bad Madam Web was, so that's like fine. Let's see, Borderlands, Eli Roth I think will get in. I mean, especially when you consider, like, I don't know, maybe J.C. Chandor could get in. I don't know, but like, And then there's Miller's Girl, which is a movie about, like, a young woman. I don't know if she's supposed to be a teenager or if she's supposed to be, like, a very young woman. But basically, she falls in love with her teacher. Or maybe not falls in love, but I don't know what... Basically, there's sexual relations going between her character and the teacher. I think because of that, it's going to get nominated for Worst Director. And what really fascinated me was that this was only shortlisted for 2 categories, one of which I'm just like, and that's another one problem with the Razzies. I'll get to that here in a bit, but if this is like one of the only nominations Miller's Girl is contending for, then that must mean they really, really hate Jade Haley Bartlett. And let's see, and yeah. Zack Snyder for Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. It's not long. It's not shortlisted for Worst Picture, so I'm not gonna take him too seriously. But again, they don't really like Zack Snyder that much. But we'll have to see. J.C. Chando for Kraven the Hunter. He maybe should be at number 6. But again, I don't know. Maybe they just want to throw in a Zack Snyder nomination. Matthew Vaughn for Argyle and Jerry Seinfeld for Unfrosted. Again, Unfrosted made a lot of these lists, but again, I just don't feel like people care enough about the movie. And also with Argyle, like, it is in a few short lists here. But again, when you look at the competition, I feel like there's a lot more narrative and a lot more, like, big publicity to be had with some of these nominations. Then, you have Worst Actress, which I'm already, like, when you look at the short list, I'm just like, why is Jenna Ortega in that list? Because, if the whole thing about, like, it's weird. Like, Miller's Girl only showed up on 2 shortlists, Worst Director and Worst Actress. Something tells me there might be some sexism going on, because if they really have a problem, with the movie having, regarding the whole, young woman having sexual relations with her teacher, all right, that is very strange. Why is only Jenna Ortega being shortlisted here, and not Martin Freeman? Even though the whole thing is just weird to begin with, it's like, how come she's one of the only ones singled out? It's almost like the Razzies are saying, it's the woman's fault here. It's like, it's very weird. Isn't that just very weird and, like, kind of sexist? If I'm gonna, like, it's almost like saying, if a young woman is, or young girl, or I'm not exactly, I don't know how old her character's supposed to be, but it's like, if a much younger woman is having sexual relations with a much older man, it's not the man who's clearly in a position of power to potentially, take advantage of this girl. No, it's the girl's fault. It's like, and again, it just gives off those vibes considering she's here and not Martin Freeman. I don't know, like, it's just weird. Hell, if I'm not mistaken, hold on a second, I just realized, I don't think they're shortlisted for Worst Screen Combo. Let me look here. Yeah, they're not. So they literally are just targeting Jenna Ortega here. Isn't that just weird? That's just weird to me. Like, I don't understand that. That is just, it's one of the reasons why I feel like the Razzies are just really stupid, because it's like, their judgment calls are very strange. They're very, very strange. Regardless, I think maybe Lady Gaga might win here because, hey, Joaquin Phoenix won the Oscar, so now Lady Gaga can win the Razzie. But then again, I don't know. Maybe they'll go for Dakota Johnson for Madam Web. I mean, the performance was very flat. Penelope Ann Miller, I was gonna maybe say she'll win, but at the same time, like, I started realizing when I was predicting these, I had Reagan winning way too many Razzies. And then I started realizing, oh, no, there's no way this is like a Razzie sweeper. This is not Jack and Jill. So, no. Jennifer Lopez, she's been nominated for a shit ton of Razzies. So, like, she's like the Peter O'Toole of the Razzies. So it's like, I feel like she's going to get nominated here. And again, Jenna Ortega, because I just feel like the Razzies are being really weird right now. They're being very weird. And then, I don't know, maybe Bryce Dallas Howard for Argyles, Cate Blanchett for Borderlands. I mean, Borderlands is in Worst Picture, so it does help, but I don't know. And then Sophia Boutella for Rebel Moon Part 2. Nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing really makes sense with the Razzies, so, yeah. Worst Actor. Man, if Justin Baldoni doesn't win here for It Ends With Us, given how much shit he's in right now, I would be shocked. Because, like, when I initially saw the shortlist, I was like, oh, okay, like, this is like a layout for, like, either Dennis Quaid or Zachary Levi. Probably more so Zachary Levi because of how, like, hard right he's taken recently and how he, like, blamed his friend's cancer death on the COVID vaccine. I'm just like, Dude, what? But then when I saw that Justin Baldoni was there, I was like, oh wait, never mind. Nope, he's gonna get the win, because like, good God, the way he is just like again, allegedly, because I don't know, who knows if I'll get sued or whatever, but like, allegedly, like, he has been, he's been like harassing Blake Lively, and like also harassing Ryan Reynolds, but mostly Blake Lively, because again, she's the woman, and like Justin Baldoni is allegedly, wink, doing what men usually do. So yeah, I don't know. And if you're just gonna ask my opinion, I tend to believe Blake Lively's side of the story. So I do believe her side of the story. But again, that's just my opinion. Still, Justin Baldoni's gonna win this garbage. I hate you, boo. Dennis Quaid. If it weren't for him, it would honestly be a battle between Dennis Quaid and Zachary Levi. And if Zachary Levi does not get nominated here, I would be so fucking shocked, because he represents everything the Razzies hate. And not only that, it's just like, even the casting is just so... Why the fuck is Zachary Levi playing Harold, the kid with the purple crayon? Kids don't want to see a 40-year-old man in purple pajamas with a purple crayon. They want to see a kid with purple pajamas using a purple crayon. This is so dumb. It's like, I don't get this. I don't understand this. And the fact that this is like kind of like the nail the nail in the coffin of Zachary Levi's career. I love how he was like, oh, well, see, being a Trump supporter or being conservative, I mean, that's what kills your career in Hollywood. It's like, dude, your career literally ended before you became conservative, or before you came out as conservative. So, regardless, it's like, yeah, I would be shocked if he missed here. If it weren't for these three, there would be a chance that Joaquin Phoenix would win this, because again, it would be very poetic. He won the Oscar for the first film and won the Razzie for the second film. Again, I really don't think he should be nominated for this, because I like, God, the stuff that came out about him just abandoning film sets is really douchey, and he looks like a big dick, but I wish that weren't the case, because he actually is very good in Joker Folie à Deux. Arguably, maybe better than the first film, but like, but again, it's the Razzies. They always like to coattail nominations in Worst Picture, so there's that. And then Aaron Taylor Johnson for The Craven the Hunter. I was maybe going to consider like Jack Black or Adam Driver, or maybe even Jerry Seinfeld, but because Craven the Hunter is potentially going to be such a big contender because of the disastrous Sony Marvel universe, I feel like he's going to be nominated here. I don't even know why. I mean, maybe I put Jack Black too high, because literally no one gives any shits over Dear Santa. Like, it came and it went. Like, no one cares about that movie. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, he might be the only person. Yeah. Dear Santa only got in 2 shortlists: Worst Picture and Worst Actor. Honestly, yeah, he should be at the bottom. I kind of screwed up there. I didn't because Dear Santa, like, they clearly just like put in Dear Santa there as like a filler spot, because they genuinely don't care about that movie. So maybe I should watch out for Adam Driver. So yeah. Worst Supporting Actress. This is tough, because I don't know who's gonna win. Now, I was initially thinking maybe Leslie Ann Brown for Reagan, but that's like way too many wins, unless it wants to be like one of the like Razzie's worst films ever or whatever. Maybe Jamie Lee Curtis, but also I'm not predicting Borderlands in Worst Picture, so it's kind of tricky there. I'm gonna go with Ariana DeBose, because she's a double hitter with Argyle and Craven the Hunter. And I don't know, there's kind of like this clip going around where like, and it's literally this, whatever scene, like, because it looks like they like used AI for her mouth or whatever, and where she just kind of sits there and it's like, so you're going to turn back, or I don't know exactly what, I don't know what she said, maybe, but, oh no, it's, you shouldn't have come back. But it's like, it's so weird. She's not moving a muscle except for her mouth. But even her mouth is moving like some weird deep fake. Or not even deep fake. It looks like a mouth replacement of some sort. It's so strange. But I think because of how much that's catching on, I think maybe she wins. But then again, maybe it's Jamie Lee Curtis because she's big and popular. But then again, FKA Twigs for the Crow gets the win. Or maybe Leslie Ann Down. Oh, not Brown, Down. Leslie Ann Down does win for Reagan. I mean, she is playing Margaret Thatcher. It's honestly like a who's who of what's going on. And it's tough because I'm going to go with Amy Schumer for Unfrosted, because maybe Unfrosted gets like one nomination. But then I have Catherine O'Hara for Argyle. I genuinely don't see how Emma Roberts makes any kind of an impact on Madam Web to warrant this. It's like, I didn't even realize she was in the movie until I read the shortlist. I was like, wait, who'd she play? And then I looked up, she was playing like Peter Parker's mom. I'm like, how would I, like, what? She was like the most nothing thing in the movie. Why is she being considered for worst supporting actress? Good God, if the Razzies want the biggest firestorm of backlash imaginable, they would nominate Aubrey Plaza. If you don't know, as of, when I'm recording this, it was a few days ago, or maybe even a week ago, I should say. I don't exactly know how long it was, but basically not long after the shortlists were released, Aubrey Plaza's husband tragically passed away. And someone who I know who is a voter in the Razzies, like, emailed them saying, you might want to rescind Aubrey Plaza's placement in the shortlist, because that's going to be a really bad, look if she gets nominated. And for one, they said, no, we're not going to rescind that, which, assholes. So, but regardless, they said that 50% of the votes had been counted already by that point, and she was in 8th place. Now, granted, I think it's more coincidental that she's in 8th place here, that I placed her in 8th place, because I don't, mainly it's just because, like, with Talia Shire, I don't think she makes much of an impact on Megalopolis at all, but oh my God, again, they better not nominate Aubrey Plaza for this, because, like, let's face it, the Razzies aren't to be taken seriously anyway. But it would be such a bad look on them if they actually went through and they saw that Aubrey Plaza suddenly got the most votes, and it's like, all right, she's nominated, let's go. It's like, that would be really, really bad. That would look so bad on them. Oh my God. And also, it's just like, why couldn't you, or at the very least, because, like, like I said, no one gives a shit about the Razzies anyway. No one takes it seriously. So, like, why not just, like, if she does happen to be in the top 5, go with number 6. Because no one cares anyway. It's the fucking Razzies. And why is Todd Phillips for Joker Folie à Deux here? Well, that's because they had a typo when it came to voting, and it turns out Todd Phillips was supposed to be in for director, but they accidentally put him in supporting actress, but they didn't change it. They didn't, like, again, the person I know that votes for the Razzies emailed them about this as well, and they said, sorry, we can't fix it. If people feel passionately about him, then they can just write him in, but we're not going to take him off the ballot. It's like, why? And also, like, knowing this is an error, okay, one, you should know, like, that, considering the Razzies have been around for, like, over 40 years, like, you don't have any kind of team to, like, look over any of this. You just don't have a team to, like, make sure there aren't any typos before you hit go, or, like, and allow people to vote. And also, you can't just take the poll down and just go, hey guys, we're going to send a revised ballot because we screwed up here, but, yeah, like, we screwed up with a typo, so you're going to need to put your votes in again. You could easily just do that, guys. Like, why? It's just lazy. I could do that. I literally have better production value than the fucking Razzies at this point. It's so dumb. And if somehow Todd Phillips actually does get nominated for worst supporting actress, I'm just gonna be like, what level of crazy town are we in right now? But yeah, it's just weird. This whole situation is just weird. Regardless, now we get to worst supporting actor. I'm predicting Jon Voight to win because he's in so many hated films this year. Megalopolis, Reagan, Shadowland, and Strangers. 2 worst picture heavy hitters, so he could probably win for that. So there's that. Sylvester Stallone, he's been nominated for and won a ton of Razzies, so he's probably going to win it again here. Russell Crowe for Kraven the Hunter, he's been like a recent stay in the Razzies, so I think he's going to get in. Shia LaBeouf, I mean, like, and apparently they emphasize Shia LaBeouf in drag, so, you know, that he's going to get in there. And then the last slot is interesting, because I could do Jack Black for Borderlands. I could do Anthony Hopkins for Rebel Moon 2, The Scargiver. It doesn't really make sense because he's literally just playing a voice and he was fine. But again, because I think if I'm not mistaken, they also nominated Anthony Hopkins for Worst Supporting Actor for Transformers The Last Knight. Dustin Hoffman for Megalopolis, I don't know. I feel like I don't even remember him in that movie. So, but then, I don't know. Unless they want to say, hey, yeah, Megalopolis is the worst movie of the year and we're voting for it. Maybe Megalopolis can, or maybe Dustin Hoffman can coattail, who knows. Kevin Hart, Hugh Grant, I don't know. So I'm kind of going with Tahar Rahim because him and the Bad ADR, which I'm shocked wasn't nominated for worst screen combo, because like they had a freebie for a joke there and they didn't even take it. But yeah, Tahar Rahim for Madam Web. Again, Madam Web is going to be like a big player at the Razzies, so I'm kind of expecting him to get nominated as well, so we'll see. Alright, worst screenplay. I don't want to go 5, I initially had, okay, I have the top 4, maybe not, yeah, I have the top 4, Reagan, Madam Web, Kraven, Megalopolis. Maybe Megalopolis wins worst screenplay, because it is like a very kooky, weird story. Then again, maybe it could be number 2. I don't know. But I'm going with the Mousetrap instead of Joker because that would, if I did this, that would mean Joker got nominated for everything it was shortlisted for. Aside from Todd Phillips, unless he actually were able to get enough votes in supporting actress, which again would be very weird. We'll have to see. So I will go with Mousetrap because I feel like Mousetrap could get like a couple of nominations. But it's not going to be anywhere near as big of a player as Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was. Unfrosted, but no one cares about it. I don't know why Twisters is in worst screenplay. It's like, it's not the greatest movie ever, but worst screenplay? Worst? Like, it's not even that badly written of a film. Actually, no, it's not badly written. It's like, I think the only reason why it's in here is because I think the first Twister won worst film or worst written film that made over like $100 million or something like that. But I genuinely don't understand this. Why did Twisters get in here? It's like, hell, it was way more acclaimed than even the first film. So it's like, it doesn't make any sense. I genuinely don't see why Twisters would ever get nominated here. So, I will probably go for this 5. Although, maybe, as a little bit of an asterisk, maybe put Megalopolis up at number 2. Because of its, like, insanely bad ideas, or not well thought out ideas, as well as the dialogue, like, maybe that's number 2. Maybe it could win. Who knows? Worst screen combo. If I'm not mistaken, this might be the last category? No, the second last category. Second to last. All right. I'm going with Dakota Johnson and any of her young proteges from Madam Web because I kind of realized I don't have Madam Web winning anything, I don't think. So I'll try to go with that here. Otherwise, you got like Dennis Quaid and Penelope Ann Miller in Reagan, as well as Jon Voight and his Boris Badenov Russian accent for Reagan. Maybe that happens. Any 2 obnoxious characters, but especially Jack Black as the robot in Borderlands. I don't know, maybe Jack Black does get nominated for supporting actor, because they really seem to hate Jack Black in this. Actually, they really hate Jack Black this year in general, my god. And then Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga and Joker Folie à Deux. Again, Joker's going to make a lot of nominations, so it kind of makes sense here. The entire cast of Megalopolis, maybe that could get nominated here. Argyle and anyone sharing the screen with it in Argyle. Sure, why not? Maybe that could happen. Any two unfunny comedic actors in Unfrosted. But again, I feel like nobody cares about Unfrosted that much. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see about that. Yeah. And then finally, worst sequel, remake, prequel, or ripoff. This is prime for Joker Folie à Deux to get a nomination. Oops, I screwed up something. Hold on. There we go. Okay, fixed it. There we go. All right. So yeah, Joker Folie à Deux. If it's going to win anything, it's probably going to win this because they're going to see it as like the big fall off from the first film. So there we go. Kraven the Hunter. What's weird is that Kraven the Hunter is here, and yet Madam Web isn't. That's just strange to me. But I do feel like Kraven's going to get nominated here. Again, worst picture. It probably has to get nominated here at this point. The Mousetrap, again, a very easy nomination to give it. It's also shortlisted for worst picture, so why not? Argyle. It made a few big shortlist mentions, so I'm going to assume it gets nominated here. And then we have Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver, because Zack Snyder did get shortlisted for Worst Director, and Sofia Boutella got in for Worst Supporting Actress, or no, Worst Lead Actress, for at least the shortlist at least. So I feel like, again, this is a very easy thing to assume, although maybe The Crow, but the problem is The Crow, I think, is only shortlisted for, like, this and Worst Supporting Actress. So there's not really a lot, like, there doesn't seem to be a lot of hate for it in the Razzies. Mufasa the Lion King and Megamind, I'm pretty sure a lot of people on Twitter would go, oh, those should be nominated, but it's like, Disney remakes don't get nominated that much unless you're like Pinocchio. Like, Pinocchio was the one where it's like, oh, like, yeah, they nominated that left and right. And then Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. Like, again, on paper, this would make sense, but this is the Razzies. They don't really, like their voters their voters probably don't even care about Megamind, if I'm going to be completely honest. So, yeah, guys, those are my Razzie nomination predictions. I think some of the nominees will be announced tomorrow, because for some reason all the nominees will be around on Wednesday, but they usually drop a few nominations on Tuesday. I'm not going to look at those, though. I will just react to the full nominations when they come out. So, yeah, the Razzies are kind of dumb, but hey, as long as this makes for good content. Now, I want to pass the question off to you. What are your Razzie predictions, at least for the nominations? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And be sure you hit that subscribe button, because if you don't, the Razzies will continue to be a bit sexist.